Heed this lesson and remember it well, young rangers. Never forget to use your magics. Never be caught up in somebody else's faulty notions of a fair fight. We're there to finish the fight. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den, with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. You may have noticed that my voice is down at a lower octave. While effective for some of the videography, the recording stuff that I do for the intro portion of the video, unfortunately, it does mean I have been reinfected with some sort of plague. Yes, Grandfather Nurgle's blessings rain down abundantly upon my house. Opportunistic viral infection, bronchitis of some sort, so not much to be done about it, but just to power through it, and I don't feel much like missing any other deadline. So, here we are, my friends. Today, covering the first edition Pathfinder build guide, Treant Monk Switch Hitter build, and now we are covering the Ranger's 3rd level spells. And before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already listed yourself on such a legendary roster of incredibly dashing adventurers and patrons, then go on down to hit that like button and share the video far and wide. Help us to grow ever further. But now, let's go ahead and see what we have on offer for you today. And it should be no surprise that the first thing right off the bat here is Greater Magic Fang. This improves upon Magic Fang, the regular version. It's a close range spell, 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 levels. You can target one living creature and it lasts an impressive 1 hour per level. This works exactly like Magic Fang, but the enhancement bonus improves by +1 every 4 caster levels, so you will get much more mileage out of this, and this spell can also be made permanent, so you can eventually enchant your animal companion's teeth, their claws, if they have any, their tail attacks, and make them that much more effective and lethal in combat for you. And then, right after that, we have the Dark Fission spell. You get this later than others, such as the Druid, but it is still by no means comparatively useless in that regard. It's a very useful utility spell. You have touch range with it, you target the creature touched, and it lasts 1 hour per level, and you grant the target dark vision out to 60 feet, allowing them to see in total darkness, and can also be made permanent. So if you've picked out, say, a human, well, now your human ranger can have dark vision out to 60 feet permanently upon themselves. Absolutely great to have, and even if you do have dark vision, still consider having this one on your list for any party members who perhaps do not. So definitely will be a useful one. And then the next spell on offer for you today is Thorny Entangled. It's a standard action to cast, long range, 400 feet plus 40 feet per level. It's a 40-foot radius effect, lasts 1 minute per level with a reflex for a partial save. And it works as Entangle, but the plants grow thorns and fire them at targets within 15 feet of the spell effect on the turn of any creature that enters this area. This will use your caster level and wisdom bonus as its attack bonus. Remember, normally you are caster level -3, so if you're a level 13 ranger, you will count as a level 10 caster, adding in your wisdom bonus. On a hit, the thorns will deal 2d6 points of piercing damage, and creatures in the spell area will automatically take 2d6 piercing damage as well. Now, it's important to note here, if you have the magical knack trait, you're going to be at caster level -1. So, going with our level 13 example again, you will instead count as a level 12 caster. So that particular trait will give you a bit more of a boost in terms of your ability to deal damage with this spell, on top of just flat out entangling opponents if they fail those reflex saves, or at least having them significantly penalized as described in the entanglement spell before. And now, moving on to our next spell, we have Instant Enemy, and this is a swift action to cast. Definitely important to note that here, since most spells are a standard action. It's another close range at 25 feet plus 5 feet every 2 levels, and you target one creature that's not your favored enemy or on any of your favored enemy lists. It will last 1 minute per level. You designate an opponent you're fighting as a favored enemy, granting the bonus of one of the favored enemy types you currently have. At higher levels, you will have multiple favored enemies. Ideally, you are just going to select whichever one you have the highest favored enemy bonus for. That makes the most sense. This will allow you to have a greater deal of flexibility with your favored enemy ability. This is a great way for you to utilize this if it turns out, hey, you're starting to encounter enemies of a different type a little bit more often. Having this in your back pocket will help you cut through the chaff that much faster, or if you're dealing with a significant threat, this will help you tackle that threat that much more effectively. So definitely an auto include for basically any ranger that's going to be worth their salt. Now, some examples of spells for you to avoid though. We have 2 here, Cure Moderate Wounds and Summon Nature's Ally 3. Both of these I've kind of covered a little bit already, but if you're new here, this is the first video that you are watching. Cure Moderate Wounds is not worth the spell slot. Any of these other spells that I've listed here are going to be far, far more useful for you. You're going to be better off using a wand of Cure Light Wounds to help heal up after a fight. That'll be the most effective bang for your buck. And Summon Nature's Ally 3, it just does not keep up with any of the summon monster spells, and you're not really, you might maybe get a little bit of useful utility out of certain abilities some monsters might have, but it's going to be very infrequent, and more often than not, you're going to be better off using something like Thorny Entanglement. Summon Nature's Ally just does not really allow you to keep up well. About the only thing it's good for is maybe setting up a flanking bonus or helping to possibly distract an enemy for a turn or 2 if the monsters even, or if the animals you summon are even able to present any kind of a credible threat to them, which is unlikely. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with this selection? Do you disagree with it? Hit those like or dislike buttons and make your voice heard in the comments down below, and we'll go ahead and chat about it. We'll engage in discussion. And remember, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. But with all that said, I've been Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.